Live from Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Sinead Aherne. Today's top stories. The Cabinet has yet to reach agreement about how to ease COVID-19 restrictions next week. A Waterford GP says we've done really well when it comes to COVID in Waterford, while in sport Dan Shanahan thinks Desi Hutchinson can make a real impact in Croke Park on Saturday. A tiered reopening of the country is the most likely outcome from decisions this week on how to exit level 5. Cabinet ministers met this morning, but no decision was taken ahead of a second meeting on Thursday or Friday. Our political correspondent Sean Defoe reports.
Cabinet ministers met this morning to discuss COVID as the country prepares to exit level 5. Public Expenditure Minister Michael McGrath wanting to see some reopening of things next week.
I would like to see as much of the economy open as possible, provided it can be done in a safe and a responsible way, and it doesn't compromise unduly the progress we have made on public health grounds.
While Green Party leader Eamon Ryan said the exit likely won't happen all at once.
Today is only the start of a week of deliberation, so we'll make a call closer to it, and it'll probably be, I imagine, a kind of a staged opening. It won't be just all in one go, so fingers crossed.
At the moment, no final decision has been made, but it looks as though most retail will be allowed to open next week as the country enters a version of level 3. Restaurants and pubs that serve food may have to wait a further week before being allowed to open, and there is a reluctant acceptance around Leinster House that wet pubs will not be allowed to open at all for the rest of the year. NPHET meets tomorrow, with ministers waiting to hear further advice from officials before making a call. Sean Defoe, Leinster House.
A Waterford GP says he remains optimistic about the level of COVID-19 in Waterford. Dr Austin Burns says we've done really well here. There was a spike in the number of cases locally in recent weeks. However, Dr Byrne told Damien Tiernan on Daisha today that it's important that people don't get too alarmed.
If one was to go into a large employer, for example, and screen several hundred people, you would find significant amounts of positive cases in people who had no symptoms. And episodes like that have contributed regionally to sudden bursts of positive rates. And that is a very good thing to find because it helps us control. But it's important not to become alarmed by it because actually nothing has changed based on that piece of information.
The European Parliament has given the green light for Ireland to receive an advance payment of €23 million to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. The money will come from the EU Solidarity Fund, which is normally used for natural disasters. Donald Trump has acknowledged the process of handing the power of the White House over to President-elect Joe Biden must get underway. President Trump says he'll do so in the best interests of the United States after the official transition process was approved yesterday. However, he's vowed to keep on fighting the result of the election and is still refusing to concede the race. Former President Barack Obama has told the Washington Post it'll take time for Joe Biden to restore global confidence in the United States.
Some of the shenanigans that are going on right now around the election, that is making the world question how reliable and steady the U.S. may be. There's been some damage done that is going to take some time to dig ourselves out of. But there's no doubt that Joe's got the right people to do it.
A Fianna Fáil councillor says he was horrified to see horses in a graveyard in Waterford City. Jason Murphy shared photos of several horses in the Kilbarry Municipal Cemetery. The Fianna Fáil politician told Damien Tiernan on Daisha today that he believes it's being used as an unofficial area to exercise them.
The images were very distressing because it wasn't one or two horses. I would say it was 7, 8, maybe a dozen horses trampling around the graveyard, obviously churning up the grass there and left roaming free. As far as I can ascertain, there's a hole in the fence where they're coming in through. Obviously the gates are open at some stage to leave in and out funerals, and they can be left open after funerals, and then they come in through the main gate and they're left to exercise.
Mary lives in Tramore. She says his comments reinforce bad stereotypes about travellers.
Fair enough, horses shouldn't be in the graveyard. But as a traveller, I can assure you that the last thing in the world travellers would like is their horses in the graveyard. They're very superstitious about that, and like anyone would be, that's a terrible thing, horses in the graveyard. But he did say they got into a hole in the fence, and perhaps the council could look into that, securing their graveyard. But the thing is, no matter what the issue, what the complaint is, it gives an excuse and a full licence for someone to carry on as he did and was allowed to do, to reinforce very, very bad stereotyping about travelling people.
Students at a Carlow secondary school have been told by teachers not to wear tight-fitting clothing to PE as it's distracting for staff. Presentation College Carlow spoke to all female students in their year groups last Friday and asked them not to wear leggings or tight bottoms. Parents who contacted the school about the remarks have yet to receive a response. An online petition against the policy has been signed by 3,500 people. This parent, who wishes to remain anonymous, feels her children were body shamed.
My 12-year-old that said no ankles, no knees, no collarbones. We're not allowed to show any skin ever, basically. We're to remain covered at all times. The older girl, she's 16, they were told that they should have more respect for themselves, to be showing off their bodies, and basically they were using their bodies to distract the male teachers.
Work on 16 new social houses in Kilmacthomas is expected to start early next year. The development at Graig Shaneen is adjacent to the GAA pitch. Fine Gael councillor Liam Brazel asked Director of Service Ivan Grimes for an update.
We're still on track to start building there in mid-21.
The tender process is closed. We expect to award the tender before the end of the year, if not in the next couple of weeks. We're well on track to be on site for early next year for construction.
There are plans to develop a segregated cycle and walkway from Waterford City to Tramore. Currently, the path ends on the city side of the Outer Ring Road. Labour councillor Seamus Ryan says there's great potential.
Starting at the Kilbarry walkway all the way out to Tramore, I mean, there's a good part of it that's already done. I think it would be a great success and a great opportunity for another walkway all the way out as far as Tramore, and we could develop it like we developed the walkway going from Waterford to Dungarvan.
Director of Service Fergus Galvin says they'll talk to the NTA again about capital funding.
There is a commitment in the NTA's overall cycling strategy for the country that there would be a quality cycle route between Waterford City and Tramore Town.
2 Waterford men will be recognised by Water Safety Ireland tonight. Joe Breen and Jim Swift are set to receive the SECO Just-in-Time Rescue Award. They're both involved in rescues in Tramore during the summer. 19-year-old Joe, a student at UL, helped rescue 2 paddleboarders on the 3rd of June.
Yeah, it was mad how it was the day the leaving cert was supposed to start, but I just did what anyone else would have done at the time, and I was stoked. There was a really strong offshore wind at the time. There wasn't too many waves. It was pretty flat. This couple went out on inflatable supboards, stand-up paddleboards. The wind just took the boards with them on them, like lilos in wind, and just took them straight out to sea.
Make the smart play with Virgin Media. Check out their smart home packages at Virgin Media George's Street, Waterford.
Sponsors of the sports news on WLR.
Starting with Gaelic games, Waterford are set to tackle Kilkenny in an All-Ireland semi-final this Saturday. They secure their passage by beating Clare last Saturday in Cork. The 2015 champions will pose a stiff challenge to the Daisha, especially after a last-minute victory against Galway in the Leinster final. 3-time All-Star Dan Shanahan thinks Desi Hutchinson can make a real impact in Croke Park, having taken his first 2 championship goals against Clare.
His feet are unbelievable. His finishing is unbelievable. The second goal he got, he bang gone into the bottom corner. It's a really confident booster, because when you go to Croke Park, it's a big field, big open field, and I think it'll suit him again, to be honest with you, as in the space he get up there, the space he can make with his feet is unbelievable. The one thing I look at is the way he can run and the way he can turn, and he's well able to do both, as well as finish.
We'll have live commentary of the game thanks to George Corbett Skoda with Kieran O'Connor and Sinead Aherne. Manager Eddie Brennan and his backroom team have stepped down from the Laois senior hurling panel. The 8-time All-Ireland winner with Kilkenny had been in charge of the O'Moore County hurlers for 2 years and led them to a Joe McDonagh Cup win in 2019. Brennan was scathing of the county board in an off-the-record interview and subsequently held talks with them last week. They confirmed that Brennan was stepping down and not seeking to remain in charge for 2021. In soccer, Chelsea have the chance to qualify for the knockout stages of the Champions League this evening. A win away to French side Rennes will be enough to steal a spot in the last 16. Manager Frank Lampard has warned his players against complacency and is determined to get the job done tonight.
If we get the wrong result, we make it a difficult couple of games ahead of us in the group, because we go to Seville next. So we have to respect this game. I won't think too much. We have till Sunday for Tottenham. I won't consider that as much as just dealing with Rennes at face value.
Manchester United welcome Istanbul Başakşehir to Old Trafford, hoping to avenge their recent defeat by the same opposition in Turkey. Paul Pogba could return for United after missing the win over West Brom with a knock. It's an 8 o'clock start at Old Trafford. While in greyhound racing, there's action in Kilcohen Park this evening. WLR's Mark Phillips looks ahead.
On tonight's 12-race card, dominating the action are the semi-finals of an A5 competition kindly sponsored by the Track Supporters Club. The WLR top selection in Kilcohen Park later on this evening is Me Gale, who runs from Trap 1 in race 6.
Sports news on WLR is thanks to Virgin Media Waterford. WLR asks you to double your efforts to reduce the spread of COVID-19 in Waterford.